does that not include your divine state? Does that not include you being in a unified field of beings experiencing the many aspects of themselves? So we would suggest celebrating more the uniqueness of your union with each other than the complication of separation and all the judgments and criticisms that comes with how I'm different than you and better and less and all that, we'll just call it bullshit, that comes from confusion. That cultures have propagated, families have propagated, churches have propagated, governments have propagated, there's all this propagation to try, they're talking about dumbing you down. Well, they did a good job of dumbing you down to a place where you forgot almost in its entirety of who you are. Omnipresence, if Spirit is omnipresent, there's no place where Spirit is not then. That means your breath, your being, your Spirit is that. That means you are also omniscient. That means, yes, we will say that again for those of you who doubt, because I don't feel omniscient. Well, we're not talking about feelings and beliefs. We're talking about your ability to tap to Source, seeing yourself as Source, connecting that unity. Then you have access to all information, all wisdom, all clarity, all truth. The peace that comes from that. The joy that comes from that, the bliss, the happiness that comes from that cannot be taken away. Someone gives me a car, I love my car, it's a beautiful car, they gave me a Ferrari, they actually chose the color I like. I'm not a Ferrari person, but let's just say that, because that seems to be the it car for some people. Now you take it out for a drive and the car crashes. Is your same happiness that you had when you received the car the same happiness that you have when the car crashed? No. So now here's this beautiful man or beautiful woman, he comes into my life and, oh my God, my dream of all dreams have now entered my life, and 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years, whatever later, 60 years later, they die or go. All of a sudden, it is, are you at the same joy place when that person entered in as when they left? Often it's a no. And why is it a no? Because it is outer dependent. It is not interdependent. When you're in a state of peace, when you're in a state of bliss, when you're in a state of clarity and wisdom and truth, you see that nothing can be taken away from you. No being can be taken. They can choose to go into stories and be in the same room or not be in the same room, be on the same planet, die. But you can see that they will never be parted from me, because that's a story of separation. How can you be separate from something that you're unified with? So when you understand that truth, your happiness is no longer reliant on the false beliefs that you've unfortunately bought into. And we say unfortunate just because it is unfortunate. That because of that, there's so much suffering. If you would say, if you had a person enter your life and it's like, oh, what a beautiful gift you are, and it's been so nice spending time with you, and you have to go, well, have a great journey, whatever that is. And then you're alone in your own space of peace and bliss. And then another person comes in, and you get to enjoy their beauty and their wisdom and their clarity. And look at this uniqueness. I've never seen this flower, I've never seen that flower. Look at this tree, and look at this zebra, and look at this thing and that being. And you just enjoyed it as it came and went. And then when you found yourself in that state of silence, stillness, you can go back into the place where your own journey of your uniqueness and your peace exists. And so that one doesn't have to experience life as suffering, because they're not attaching it to being something outside of themselves. And we know that these are not new concepts. A lot of you are very well versed and experienced in spiritual things that have brought you to these understandings naturally. Well, it would be natural because it is your natural state. But we're just here to suggest that you spend more time there, because the more time you're there, the more joy, peace, love, happiness, all the things that people strive for exist. You don't have to strive for it. As we were speaking earlier, you can surrender to that stillness. And in that silence, there's no separation, there's unification, and there's all that you will ever need in any lifetime at any time. And if you do not believe this fully, at least consider it. At least be open to that be a possibility, your life experience. So we did go on for some time, and we just enthusiastically like to share at times with you. But we will gladly take on any questions if any of you have questions. And you don't have to. You don't have to be shy. But you also don't have to ask questions. We enjoy just sharing with you. So either way, we don't want to put people on spots, but we also don't want to.
What's next? I have something that I've been feeling coming a long time, and I can't find the path, and I don't know how to get there, and I need to know.
Well, we're going to answer this in a few phases. The thing that is next, truly, on this planet is for people to awaken, period. In that awakening process, they will then align to their purpose. Each unique being has their unique purpose. The baseline of your purpose is that you experience joy. If you're not experiencing joy 24/7, you're not fully aligned with your purpose, because that was the ultimate purpose why you took form. You came to the planet where there is earth and things that can be enjoyed through your senses, through sight, through taste, through touch, through smell, through sensory, the sixth sense, the sensory of connection and union, to just enjoy life. There is no higher purpose for you than to enjoy life. We can say this 100,000 times. We hope that you get it. There is no greater purpose than for you to enjoy your life. If from the joy of your life you decide you want to offer back your gifts, your multitude of gifts to others, then by all means do so. For some that might be singing, for some that might be writing, for some that might be gardening, for some that might be raising new beings, for some that might be cooking great meals, for some that might be helping out others in, nurse, as an attorney, as the multitude ways that people serve one another. So when you ask the question, you see something's coming, the thing that is coming is yourself. It is emerging from your being. And yes, there's so many shifts and changes, and people are seeing, and it's not always pretty. And the reason we say it's not always pretty is not because you're not beautiful and excellent in yourself, it's because the concepts are not. The confusion is not, the wound is not. So sometimes as you're pulling out the root of a weed, there's kind of that tug, and there's a little bit of a struggle to get it out. But then the earth is free of that, and then you can plant what it is that you want to in there. So if you have a struggle of there's just not enough. There's not enough love, there's not enough money, there's not enough, it could be there's not enough shoes. How many people go, I've got 50 pairs of shoes, but that's not enough. I've got 50 pairs of this, there's not enough. So we're in this not enough stage. And instead of actually appreciating everything we have and appreciating who we are as what we have, we go on to think the next, the next, the next. So what is emerging is the truth of your being. And again, when that fully comes forth, this question will not need to be answered, because coming forth in the expression of your full self is all the answers. And we will say it is not one thing. It's like, okay, well, I think I'm going to be an attorney that actually goes out and I'm going to help the suffering people be freed from their slavery. There's plenty of slavery still on the planet. So there's some very intended attorneys out there writing laws and doing all this and going to these countries and helping free slaves. Is that their purpose? That's their job. it could be aligned with their truth of their purpose, but their purpose is also on their days off. Well, my purpose might be I'm resting, I'm listening to music, I'm writing my poetry, I'm sharing with a dear friend, I'm raising my children. Whatever you're doing in that moment, you can bring purpose to. And when you bring yourself more fully to yourself, you can bring that to your purpose. And again, the purpose is experiencing life and joy. So if you have a specific question in the sense of, I'm looking at this direction, I'm looking in that direction as far as things to do, we can answer that question, maybe work with you in looking at that. But I hope that you understand that if we told you one thing, if we say, well, your purpose is to go back and get a PhD in psychology and go help people who are deeply confused and want to commit suicide, and so to help them get out, unstuck from that stage, then you're going to think, well, my purpose is doing that, then everything else I do is not my purpose. And we're saying that's not true. When you're with your children, it's your purpose. When you're with your husband, your loved ones, your friends, it is your purpose to experience yourself fully, experiencing them fully. When you're at your meal and you're making your eggs, your purpose is to get the best meal into your wonderful body so you can enjoy not only all those senses, but then the nutrients that it comes forth. So I hope we didn't skirt your question. Did you feel you got that answered, or do you have a more specific question around that?
I didn't get what I've been told I'm supposed to help other people clarify their lives and find out what they need, and to be able to detach from that.
Okay, so start with yourself. So when you help, say it again that you wanted to do. You want to help people.
I've been told that I'm supposed to help people find clarity in their lives and help them, but be able to detach from it.
Okay, so if you help, so now put that I am helping myself, and then say it. I'm helping myself find clarity.
And detach from the outcome.
Yes. You cannot assist another person in doing something that you're not doing yourself. Not in the true sense of the word. Yes, would it be of benefit for you to assist as many beings on the planet to clarify who it is they are, what they are, and to detach from the suffering of life and detach from whatever they're attached to? Yes. But do it vibrationally through your being, experientially, and then you bring that into the cosmic universal consciousness as another human being doing that. And then everyone that you are around, not even just the people your friends are talking to, get that shared vibrational energy. Even more so the people you're actually spending one-on-one time with. But get it within your own experiential level first. Is that helpful?
That just makes sense.
Thank you. Are there other questions?
I just wanted to know, is my mum going to pull through?
Pull through to what?
Getting better.
What does better look like to you? Better is not whether or not we keep a body. We will say that. Better is fulfilling their expression. One does not need a body to have full expression. So if you're asking about whether or not the physical body is going to stay on the planet for many years or days to come, that's a different question. But pull through, we don't understand what you mean by this. We want more clarity.
She's going to stay.
In physical form or non-physical form? Because there's many beings that are on the physical planet right now, including ourselves, that are not in physical, so we've stayed.
Physical form.
Okay, so now we're clear about the question. No. And neither will you, and nor will your children, nor will any human being on this planet. So it's just a matter of time, whether it's a day, an hour, or 100 years, when our check-off list is like, we've done everything we needed in this body, in this time. And sometimes that check-off list is before they even leave the womb.